I see the Michael Jackson thing as a little less black and white than OJ. Hernandez was charged with first-degree murder in addition to 5 gun-related charges. Kennedy pleaded guilty. The Chappaquiddick incident became a national news item and influenced Kennedy's decision not to run for president in 1972 and 76. Baldwin discharged a revolver used as a prop, which killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. Both men were charged with murder as Snoop was purportedly driving the vehicle from which the gun was fired. Caitlyn Jenner was an Olympic gold medal winning athlete.
I could go win a gold medal tomorrow.
He was arrested by the LAPD, which is ironic since he played in LAPD. You know, if you've killed someone and you've gotten away with it up to this point, it's got to be in the back of your mind at all times. I don't think Donald Trump has physically killed anyone, but it would not surprise me to learn that he's hired someone to kill someone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Death is nature's way of saying, your table is ready. That quote is from dead celebrity Robin Williams. And today we're going to put a whole new spin on celebrity deathmatch. But first, let me reintroduce you to 2 of my favorite celebrities who are still alive and, as far as I know, have not yet killed anyone. That's Tim and Lance, hosts of Crawlspace and Missing. Tim, and Lance, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. Barely alive, though, I'd add.
Well, you got your tea now, so.
We're withering. We're barely alive. We're withering. So, but this has been that shot of healthy humor that I've been waiting for. It's like you just
good.
Yeah, this injection of healthy humor. So you're like heroin.
Where's humor? Where's the humor? I was being completely serious.
See?
Well, we had a great serious discussion last time we were on, so we wanted to continue that theme.
The big 222, that's where you guys came and brought me the top 10 weirdest town names in America, which was a very serious conversation. We didn't make fun of any towns or people in this country. And today, we're going to keep it weird again. So I dropped some hints there at the beginning. And you guys, this is the first time you've guessed a list on this show. And you're going to guess the top 10 biggest celebrities who have killed someone.
Ooh,
perfect. I love it. Love it.
This is great.
I wanted to clarify, though, just before we start, just so the listeners have the proper context, and they get to know you a little bit better, you guys have or have not killed anyone?
Directly or indirectly?
We'll take it all.
Then probably somewhere along the lines.
No comment on that.
Okay, got it.
No.
Well, I ask you that because you're guessing, again, celebrities who have killed someone. Now, this could be murder. This could be an accidental death. Car accidents, things like that are included, but as well as homicide, murder. And there's some rules here because they have to have killed someone after becoming famous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's a big caveat because there are many celebrities, and I'll touch on some of them later, that have killed someone, but they did it before they were famous. I'm looking
Doesn't
at
count.
you, Laura Bush. And so you might be asking yourself, too, how are you ranking these people? And there really is no good way to rank them. So I pulled the 10 biggest celebrities, and biggest is, in the eye of the beholder. These are 10 celebrities that I thought were the biggest names. And I ordered them in roughly what I think the most famous cases were. In other words, the deaths that got the most media attention. So again, this is a little bit of a subjective list, but just to give us something to work off of, I took 10 biggest celebrities, ordered them roughly in 10 to 1 being the most media coverage. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
No Googling, right? Because I'm seeing some typing going on.
I'm making notes to myself here. I've typed down a few names already.
They have to be convicted of it?
Good question. They have to have been charged with it.
Okay.
Charged.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Fantastic.
Yes. In most, if not every case, even if they were not convicted, it's pretty clear they were responsible.
Okay, good.
Number 1 is a great example of that, but try to save number 1 if you can think, if you can. It's probably the biggest celebrity murder case anyone could think of off the top of their head.
And are we going to alternate?
Here's what we'll do. We'll alternate. Lance will start with you, and if you get it wrong, Tim has a chance to answer it. And I'm going to keep score who gets the most correct answers at the end. And the winner gets a prize.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
A secret surprise. And Lance, since you seem pretty confident, I'm going to start with you. You're confident, and you're just dying to give your first guess, and I'm going to give you that chance right now. Who is on this list? It doesn't have to be in order. It can be anyone on the top 10, although try to save number 1, a celebrity that has killed someone.
Oh, I thought you were going to give me like the victim or something, and then I guessed it.
Lance, I don't have time to hold your hand through every step of this journey.
I'm going with my favorite. I'm going with Beretta. I'm going with Robert Blake.
That's a good guess. Well, he has definitely killed someone, to be clear. But I only have room for 10 people on this list, and he did not crack my top 10. No, I think the 10 people on this list are bigger names.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I struck out right on my first at bat.
Well, it's just strike one.
Yeah, you got 3 strikes. Do you know how baseball works?
Well, your rule said if you get it wrong, you move to the next one.
Yeah, but that's not the
All right.
same
Like
as a
banana ball,
strikeout.
sir.
You.
Top 10 rules of baseball.
It's Tim's turn now, right?
It is Tim's turn. Yeah,
Okay. Ferris Bueller himself, Matthew Broderick.
I was going to say that.
Matthew Broderick. I have him at number 10,
Wow.
which means, in my opinion, his case was the 10th biggest of this top 10. He is a, very big name, but I feel like his killing, death, I mean, it's not a murder, but the person he killed, I feel like a lot of people, at least today, don't even know that. I went a long time without even knowing that Matthew Broderick killed someone, but he did. He took a gun and went to an innocent old lady's home and opened fire.
He had a machete. He went on a kill
Okay.
rampage.
He did go on a kill rampage, but it was one person and it was an accident. So first, who is Matthew Broderick? First of all, he's a listener of the show. Secondly, he's an American actor. He's been in the Golden Globe nominated portrayal of the title character in Ferris Bueller's Day Off from 1986. He was the voice of adult Simba in Disney's The Lion King. He's also Leo Bloom in both the Broadway musical The Producers and its 2005 film adaptation that no one saw. I'm going to go now to August 1987. That's just the year after Ferris Bueller. He was on vacation in Ireland with his then secret girlfriend, who was his co-star in Ferris Bueller, Jennifer Grey. I think she played his sister in the movie, right?
Correct.
That's something weird about
Creepy.
that, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It's acting, method acting.
If you banging your sister, that's method acting?
I mean,
If-
you make the rules, Nick.
If their relationship on screen was incestuous, then yes.
It did say it's his secret girlfriend, so they have to know there's something weird. But we're focusing on the wrong thing here, because Matthew Broderick and Jennifer Grey, they're driving in Ireland, 80 miles west of Belfast, and they rammed another vehicle, killing 2 people inside, 2 women. Those women were killed. Matthew Broderick suffered a fractured leg and ribs, a concussion, and a collapsed lung. Jennifer Grey suffered severe whiplash, which later required surgery to avoid paralysis. Obviously, they did not die, though. Broderick told police he had no recollection of the crash, and he did not know why he had been in the wrong lane. I forgot to mention that. He was driving in the wrong lane at 80 miles an hour. As far as I could tell, no sign of intoxication. He said, quote, what I first remember is waking up in the hospital with a very strange feeling going on in my leg. Thanks, Matthew, for that insightful quote. Broderick was later charged with careless driving and fined $175. The
Wow.
victim's
Ridiculous.
family called the verdict a travesty of justice. I think we can agree Matthew Broderick did not intend to kill anyone. He shouldn't go to prison for murder, but there should be something beyond a $175 fine. He was a millionaire at the time.
Well, that's why it was only a $175 fine. He was like the golden boy. That needed to be swept under the rug quick.
And it was.
But did it hurt his career at all?
I don't think it did.
I don't think so.
But don't you get the feeling that Matthew Broderick was never as big as he should have been after
Yes,
Ferris Bueller?
that's a good
like
point.
he peaked at Ferris Bueller.
But there's Lion King. He's Simba in Lion King. That's like,
That was a surprise to me. I didn't even know that he was in that.
What about Biloxi Blues? The mega hit Biloxi Blues. No, I wasn't
That
gonna
a
say that, I'm
comeback?
kidding.
he was in Godzilla, 1998 Godzilla. Yeah, I guess you're right. He never became like the A-lister he was kind of destined to be.
Well, there was a lot of competition in that time frame, and that that universe of Tom Cruise and Matthew Broderick and Rob Lowe, and
He was in The Cable Guy
Yeah.
as well.
Like,
Just saying.
really good movie.
But yeah, comparing short little friendly neighbor Matthew Broderick with, Tom Cruise, super athlete, like mega hunk in the 80s anyway.
He was playing the Tom Hanks kind of roles, he could have played in The Burbs, like that would have been a role for him.
It's possible it hurt his career. I don't know that this hurt his career. It could have just been other things. Because I swear to God, if you went out and asked 10 random people if Matthew Broderick has killed someone, I'll bet 7 out of 10 would say no.
I would bet that 8 out of 10 say no, but I would also say that 5 out of 10 say they knew about that if you ask people in Los Angeles.
Okay, sure. But even 5 out of 10 in Los Angeles is, I mean, he got away with it. He got away pretty good with this one, I think. I think he's not hurting too bad. So yeah, that's Matthew Broderick. I have that at number 10. So Lance,
Yes.
you're 0 for 1, and Tim is 1 for 1. So make it up to us now.
Well, I'm gonna just have to swing for the fences here and go with O.J. Simpson.
Oh, Tim, what do we do with this guy? I tell him not to guess number 1, and Lance comes right back. His very first look at him, he just
Oh, we were supposed to build up to it?
It's not a steadfast rule. People have done it, but try to save number one if we can.
Do you want me to back it up? We can do that again if you want.
Lance, there's one thing I don't want you to do, and that's back it up.
You always tell me to back it up. I thought it was all obvious. I was down 0-1. We all know it's going to be O.J. Simpson, so I needed to step up.
According to the American justice system, he did not kill his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and Ron Goldman. However, we all know that he did. He was an American football running back, actor, broadcaster. He was kind of, at the time, what is this, early 90s? He would have been, kind of what I picture like Shaq as today. The lovable former athlete that's like the spokesman for every brand. He threw all that away when he had a temper tantrum and brutally killed his ex-wife and her friend. And I'm not going to go into too much more detail just because I covered this a few episodes ago on episode 254, the most famous unsolved cases. And again, we all know OJ did it, but legally it's unsolved. If you want to learn more about OJ, listen to that or literally 10 billion other podcasts that have covered this. I will say he did end up serving jail time in the 2000s for an unrelated robbery and kidnapping. Can you imagine just being in his position and having this like lifetime of riches and fame in front of you and you throw it all away?
And he did lose the civil case.
He lost the civil case, but he did not pay even a fraction of what he was supposed to pay for that.
Yeah.
So he basically got away from it scot-free in all respects, other than his image has been tarnished ever since, which is something, but not enough.
It was brilliant in The Naked Gun. We'll give him that. No, it's like the whole Michael Jackson thing. I'm separating the artist from the human.
Michael Jackson did not kill anyone. I see the Michael Jackson thing as a little less black and white than OJ. Like, OJ did it, and everybody knows he did it. Michael probably did it, but I think there's some room for doubt. I don't want to get into the whole thing. Tim, do you have a guess now?
You mentioned only one hour. There was an athlete on the list, so we already went over OJ. Are there other athletes?
Another one.
There is another one. Okay, I'm going to go with Oscar Pistorious.
Actually, there's two more. Yeah, Oscar is one of them.
Okay.
So there is one more after this. Oscar Pistorious is number 6 on my list.
Okay.
And this definitely got a lot of media coverage, but I'd still say not in the top 5. But you guys let me know if you disagree once we get there. So Oscar Pistorious, number 6. If you, the listener, think that name sounds familiar, it's because he was an Olympic athlete. He was the first double-leg amputee in the Olympics. He competed in his 2012 Summer Olympics as a sprinter. Again, he has no legs and no feet, so pretty incredible. He had his feet amputated at 11-month-old, and he obviously grew into the super athlete. So he competed in the 2012 Summer Olympics. I'm actually unclear if he won a medal there. Do you know, Tim?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I think he won.
He might have. If he didn't, he at least did very well. And so that's 2012. 2013, less than a year later, February of 2013, he shot and killed his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp, at their home in Pretoria, South Africa. Oscar admitted that he shot her 4 times, causing her death, but claimed he mistook her for a possible intruder. Hate it when that happens. Initially, the Olympic para-athlete was found guilty of culpable homicide, which is the rough equivalent of involuntary manslaughter here in the States. An appeals court overturned his original charge in 2016, finding him guilty of homicide and extending his prison sentence to 15 years. And that's because 5 judges found that he must have known that someone would die if he fired through a closed door. She was in the bathroom with the door closed. He shot into the bathroom and killed her. And their argument, the judges said that although he may have been anxious, it is inconceivable that a rational person could have believed he was entitled to fire at a person with a heavy caliber firearm without taking even the most elementary precaution of firing a warning shot. So it's still possible. I haven't looked super deep in this case. It's possible to me from reading this that he did make a mistake of shooting. He might have thought it was someone else in the house. But the court is saying, even if you thought it was someone else, you did not have the right to just shoot them dead, is my interpretation. And my last note on this is, as of November 2023, it was announced that he would be released on parole. So he is out now. His girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp's mother, June Steenkamp, did not oppose his parole because she, quote, simply cannot muster the energy to face him again at this stage. So maybe you guys know more than I do, but I just gleaned the research on this. But was this a cold-blooded murder, or was this a mistake as far as you know?
Yeah, I don't really have anything beyond my opinion, but I do think it was cold-blooded. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, my opinion, too. It's just so weird to me that there could be an intruder in the house, in the bathroom,
with the door closed.
Why is he shooting at him 4 times?
Well, look, even intruders have to go to the bathroom.
That's
all got to go sometimes. I get that. And look, I'm not trying to be an asshole here, and I love all of our amputee listeners, but are his legs on all the time, or is he taking those on and off?
I think they're fake.
He said,
Well,
I think he's got real legs.
I was like, I don't know how to take this, but now I see. Okay, you're saying that. So how does this work then? That the robot legs go over the real legs? Because we've seen him with the
I've been trying to figure out how he's been doing it for years.
Yeah, I think it's an optical illusion.
Yeah, he's got mirrors.
Okay. So not only did he murder his girlfriend, and now he's using mirrors at the Summer Olympics to fool everyone. But why?
I mean, criminal mastermind.
That's 2 killers you've called a mastermind. You're brilliant so far.
True.
Well, I asked to say because if they are the type of legs that someone, an amputee has to slip on before, that means he was probably because it's the middle of the night, he had to slip on the legs and then go over to the bathroom and kill. All right, that's Oscar Pistorious at number 6. Lance, it's you now.
Oh, I'm really torn because of the athlete angle. There's 2 athletes in my head. You said there's 1 left, or there are 2 left now?
There's 1 left, but there's another one that was an athlete decades ago.
I'm not gonna go athlete. I'm gonna save that for Tim. Vince Neil.
Vince Neil is on my honorable mentions.
Okay, yeah, I figured. Damn, I just wanted to bring him up. I guess I'll take the hit on that.
That's okay. You can bring him up. We love talking about people that aren't on the list and wasting our time doing that. Do you have a guess?
Well, I'll go with Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez. I have Aaron Hernandez. So tell me this. If I have Oscar at 6 and I have OJ at 1 and Matthew Broderick at 10, where do you think Aaron Hernandez would fit here?
Has to be like 3, right?
Yeah, probably split the difference, or maybe 4 or 5, somewhere in that range.
5 is where I have him.
Oh, wow.
And I almost put him at number 4, but I ended up putting him at 5. So Aaron Hernandez, he was a football player for the NFL, New England Patriots. He was playing on the Patriots at the time that he was arrested and later convicted for the murder of Odin Lloyd. On June 18th, 2013, police searched Hernandez's home in connection with an investigation into the shooting death of his friend, Odin Lloyd, whose body was found with multiple gunshots in an industrial park about a mile from Hernandez's house. About a week later, Hernandez was charged with first-degree murder in addition to 5 gun-related charges. It only took 90 minutes from then for the Patriots to release Hernandez from the team. 2 other men were also arrested in connection with the death. Don't have their names, though. A motive for the murder was never definitively established, although police did investigate the possibility that Lloyd may have learned of Hernandez's bisexuality and that Hernandez was worried that Lloyd might out him to others. 2 years after being sentenced, Hernandez killed himself by hanging in his jail cell using bedsheets. Now, I pulled this just because I did not know of this until I looked into it, but apparently when he was found dead, shampoo was found covering the floor, cardboard was wedged under the cell door to make it difficult for someone to enter, and there were drawings in blood, presumably his blood, on the walls showing an unfinished pyramid in the all-seeing eye of God with the word Illuminati written in capital letters underneath. The drawings were references to the nation of gods and earths, a black supremacist movement that he learned about while in prison. Finally, after his death, his brain was evaluated at Boston University and diagnosed with CTE stage 3 of 4. The researchers suggest that the CTE, which results in poor judgment, lack of impulse, paranoia, emotional volatility, and rage behaviors, may have explained some of his criminal acts and other behavior. And for more, you can watch the Netflix documentary, Killer Inside the Mind of Aaron Hernandez.
What a tragic story. I mean, that dude was so talented.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez.
I'm just laying
Or
full
Odin
compliments on our murderers.
You are 3 for 3 on complimenting.
Compliment all of them. I'm technically 4 for 4 because I said Vince Neil had a soft spot.
That's
in my
true.
heart.
That's true. You had a soft spot for that murderer. Well, the thing about Aaron Hernandez is, too, kind of like what I was saying with OJ, his life, and I mean, in a grand scheme, who gives a fuck about what I'm about to say? But his life went from great, amazing, rich, famous New England Patriots during their Super Bowl dynasty years. And then in the span of the week, he's arrested, kicked off the Patriots. 2 years later, he's dead. And if it's true that he was worried about his bisexuality coming out, again, that might not be true. I don't know. But if he was worried about that, that also came out. The thing he was trying to hide. So just not a good 2 years for Mr. Hernandez.
Do you think it was murder or do you think it was suicide?
Oh, in the jail cell?
Yeah.
I don't know. You think he was suicided?
I would say so. I mean, he seemed like a really confused guy
Yeah.
in a lot of his actions. The writings in blood seem like right along those same lines.
Well, I wonder if he knew before he killed himself that Lance from Crawlspace was a big fan.
Outside the courthouse. I was outside the courthouse when they were bringing him in with my Hernandez jersey on and, free Aaron Hernandez.
Free Aaron Hernandez.
picket sign.
Like, you acknowledge that he killed someone, but you're like, but he's really good on the Patriots. We can't lose him. This is this important
Yeah,
season.
season's on the line here.
He's on my fantasy football league.
Yeah. What's Gronk gonna do without his partner in crime out there?
Yeah.
On the field, I mean.
I get it. Well, I am curious to know which killers you will support next. So the only remaining athlete is a former athlete.
I'm going to go with a dark horse here. I'm going Ted Kennedy.
Kennedy, why do you consider him a dark horse?
Because it's decades and decades old. The media wasn't handled the way it is today as far as like the coverage, but he did get considerable coverage. But I was just thinking, in terms of what has happened more recently, we would probably have higher profile murders.
Yeah, that's a good argument, and I'm second guessing my list now because Ted Kennedy is on here, and I put him pretty high, and not necessarily. I mean, there's the media coverage element. I guess what influenced my decision to put him so high is it had a really big impact on presidential elections and shit at the time. So I have Ted Kennedy all the way at number 2.
Wow!
Yeah,
I thought that was going to be honorable mention. Wow. Nice.
Well, you guys, let me read through this, and at the end, you tell me if I've swayed you. So I'm going to Lance gets a point here. Ted Kennedy at number 2. He's born Edward Kennedy, but he's known as Ted. He's a lawyer and politician who served as a U.S. Senator from Massachusetts, a member of the Democratic Party, and a prominent Kennedy family member. He was the second most senior member of the Senate when he died in 2009. He was the younger brother of JFK, also the younger brother of Robert F. Kennedy. On July 18th, 1969, after leaving a party he'd been hosting on Chappaquiddick Island with 28-year-old Mary Jo Kopechne, the car they were in drove off a bridge into the water. Kopechne did not. She died. At a court hearing a week later, on July 25th, 1969, Kennedy pleaded guilty to a charge of leaving the scene of an accident and received a 2-month suspended jail sentence. In a televised statement the same evening, Kennedy said that his conduct immediately after the accident had made no sense to him at all, and that he regarded his failure to report the accident immediately as indefensible. In 1970, this is the next year, a judicial inquest concluded that, if not recklessly and at too high a speed, the Chappaquiddick incident became a national news item and influenced Kennedy's decision not to run for president in 1972 and 76. He ultimately did run for president in 1980, but only earned 37% of the votes in the primaries. He lost to incumbent U.S. President Jimmy Carter. So that's why I have this at number 2, is there were presidential implications. And since he did run for president, this surely came out, or, resurfaced in the news at that time.
Yeah, it might have had an impact. But stop calling us Shirley.
Hi, everyone. Stephen Clark here to say that I think we can all agree that the news these days is almost all bad. Wars and scandals and insurrections and those goddamn expensive Taylor Swift tickets. But I'm here to tell you that not all news is bad, because my number one news source is the Tennis Podcast newsletter. It's a free monthly newsletter delivered right to my inbox that helps me stay up to date on the latest world news, like a first look at the upcoming Tennis Podcast episodes. Newsletter subscribers like me know the topics for a month's worth of upcoming episodes way in advance. And that means that I knew the topic of the episodes you're listening to right now like a month ago. It's like I'm a time traveler. Plus, as a newsletter subscriber, I get to consume Dr. Buster's exclusive blog, The Sidekick Corner. It's the next best thing to grabbing a handful of dap booty. If that's not enough, the newsletter also features behind-the-scenes updates from Nick, merch discount codes, and more. You just go to tennispod.com/newsletter, enter your email address, and you're in. You'll get the next Tennis Podcast newsletter in your inbox just like that. The link is in the show notes. Now, turn off that boring Fox News and come join me in getting the only news source you truly need, the Tennis Podcast newsletter.
All right. How about Alec Baldwin?
Was that were you going to guess him next, Lance?
No, he kind of fell off my radar.
Yeah, it just dawned on me.
All right, Alec Baldwin, where do you think he is?
I'm going to say 3.
You nailed it. I have him at number 3. And this is, I think, the most recent thing on here for sure. And also, talk about a media shitstorm. Alec Baldwin, who's, by the way, did you know his real name is Alexander? It's not even,
no.
Why not just go by Alex Baldwin?
Oh, good point. Yeah, no, because he's
Alex Baldwin. Yeah. It doesn't really flow as much as, right? Alec Baldwin,
guess.
Alex Baldwin.
Yeah.
Maybe there was another Alex Baldwin at the time.
For sure, there probably was other Alex Baldwins Lance, but not famous ones that are in movies.
Well, maybe they were going to acting class together, and one was like, we can't have two Alec Baldwins in here, so maybe they had a brawl. Maybe they fought it out.
Maybe that was the first person Alec Baldwin killed. We just don't know about it. And in 2021, while on the film of the movie Rust, Baldwin discharged a revolver used as a prop, which killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. The Hutchins family filed a wrongful death suit against Baldwin for his part in the fatal shooting. And in October 2022, Baldwin reached an undisclosed settlement with Hutchins' family in their wrongful death lawsuit. But he was charged on 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in Santa Fe County, New Mexico in January 2023. The charges were eventually dropped in April, pending further investigation. But just recently, in January of this year, he was indicted again, and a grand jury chose to indict him on an involuntary manslaughter charge. The indictment provides prosecutors with 2 options for pursuing the charge, one based on negligent use of a firearm, and the other for felony misconduct with total disregard or indifference to the safety of others. This is kind of a hot button issue because there's a lot of angles to this, right? Alec Baldwin is an actor. He was handed a prop gun. He was the producer, and I believe he was also either directly or indirectly involved in downgrading the production team. Something like that, right? They went with a cheaper production team, something like that. I can't remember, but so he is responsible in that way. So he's kind of innocent as an actor, but not innocent as a producer.
No, he was also the weapons coordinator on the film. No, I'm just kidding. He was not.
I was like, no,
I was also like,
role.
really?
A really hands-on producer.
No, yeah, it's a tragic situation. Obviously, I don't think he knew the gun was loaded. He was rehearsing, but so yeah, it's kind of sad all the way around.
And I mean, I'm not in this world, but to me, I'm like, why are there real guns, period, on a film set? Like, of course, by 2021, when this movie was being filmed, I can't believe it was that long ago, by the way. It seems like just yesterday this happened. But when this movie was being filmed, props have evolved a long way to be able to construct a fake gun. Like, I don't get that, but I think it's pretty unlikely that he's convicted of anything.
Did you happen to see the police footage of the moment that they told him that she didn't survive when they had him in the it wasn't like an interrogation room, but it looks like an interrogation room after he went in after the shooting? There's a CCTV footage that came out. Did you happen to see that? Like his reaction when they...
Is that the one where he's like crying outside holding a phone?
No, I think it was after that.
Oh.
I think when he was crying outside was when he was like making phone calls that it had happened and he didn't know that she had died. And then they just released, it was like 2 weeks ago I watched it, this footage where the person interviewing him gives him the news that she didn't make it. And it's a genuine reaction that he has. It's like kind of heartbreaking to watch.
Did she die like within that day? Do you know?
I think so.
It wasn't like much later, yeah.
No, I think she was like helicoptered out and died like within a few hours at the hospital.
Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, someone should be held accountable. Obviously, it's a mistake and whatever, what can you say? But I don't know if this is still the case. I actually didn't look it up, but I remember hearing not long ago, like maybe a few months ago, that Rust was still planned to release at some point, this movie where this happened. And I'm like, what? Why? I can't imagine that movie is released for any other reason than the studio thinks there's enough interest in this story that we're talking about to get people to go spend their money and see it.
I mean, I don't know. I think they would have a significant amount of interest for that reason, though.
Why would you do that to a family? Like, that's just re-traumatizing this family and her husband. And come on, I mean...
Other than the victims, I'm sure the rest of the people in this film, I mean, I would bet that most of them would not want this out because it just feels wrong to release. But there's nothing rusty about your guessing, Tim. That was a good guess. So let's go through it. I got 10 Matthew Broderick. That was Tim. So there's one for Tim. Number 6 was Oscar Pistorious. Tim again. Number 5 is Aaron Hernandez. And that was Tim. So that's 3. If you're missing 4, 3 is Alec Baldwin. That's Tim. Okay. 2 and 1 were both Lance. Ted Kennedy and O.J. Simpson. So I think it's 4-2.
Sounds right.
And you're up.
I'm up. I'm going to go with...
Up at bat.
Up at bat, but I'm not going to go with Ty Cobb because I feel like that's way too old.
Too old.
And I wasn't going to go with him anyway. I'm going to go with Sid Vicious, another dark horse.
Sid Vicious is on here.
Oh,
and
nice.
I put him pretty high again because, I don't know, he's like one of those famous rock stories, you know, that you hear about. Everyone's heard the name Sid Vicious, even if you've never listened to a single Sex Pistols song. I have him at number 4.
Number 4? No kidding.
I put him above Aaron Hernandez. Do you think that's wrong? I mean, I think there might be some recency bias in like thinking like Aaron Hernandez is higher, but maybe I'm wrong on that. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you used reverse recency bias here in this case.
Wait, so Sid Vicious is higher than Aaron Hernandez?
By 1, yeah, 4.
One. Interesting. Yeah, I think it was reversed. Yeah, I don't know how much press. I mean, that got a lot of press, right? They made a movie about it.
Of course,
The Nancy.
It's I would say I would put it behind Hernandez, but it's right there. You know,
we all have wrong opinions sometimes, so I respect your wrong opinion. Now, number 4 is Sid Vicious. He was born Simon Ritchie. He was an English musician, best known as the bassist for the punk rock band Sex Pistols. And despite dying in 1979, and he was just 21 years old, he remains an icon. I know, right? So much happened. And so, I mean, he was in high school like a few years before this. It's insane. He was punk subculture. One of his friends noted that he embodied, quote, everything in punk that was dark, decadent, and nihilistic. Now, let's talk about the crime. On October 11th, 1978, Sid Vicious and his girlfriend, Nancy Spungen, hosted a party in their hotel room during which Vicious took approximately 30 Toinol tablets. I think that's a drug that's not made anymore. And while numerous people came and went, was comatose for the rest of the night. Finally, at about 11 a.m. the next day, hotel staff found Nancy dead on the bathroom floor with a knife wound to her abdomen. Sid Vicious was found wandering the hallway of the hotel. Vicious was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. He told police that he and Nancy had argued that night, but gave conflicting versions of what happened next, saying, quote, I stabbed her but never meant to kill her, then saying later that he did not remember anything, and that Nancy had fallen into the knife. If I had a nickel for every time my girlfriends fell and died on a knife on their own, and I get blamed for it.
How many nickels would you have?
Sid Vicious was released on $50,000 bail with the conditions that he'd not leave New York and that he sign in daily at the 3rd Homicide Unit office. All legal costs were paid by the Sex Pistols label Virgin Records. After a separate, unrelated assault charge, a judge sent Vicious to Rikers Island where he underwent enforced detoxification. Again, if I had a nickel for every time I did that. Shortly after this, in February 1979, less than 4 months after Nancy's death, Sid died of a heroin overdose. Sid's mother, Ann Beverly, claimed that Sid and Nancy had made a suicide pact and that Sid's death was not accidental. She produced a handwritten note, which she said she found in his pocket, reading, quote, we had a death pact and I have to keep my half of the bargain. Others that knew Sid have denied that it was suicide. So I don't know if it's super clear if it was suicide or not, but he did die of an overdose.
I think it was an intentional overdose. Are you a Sex Pistols fan?
They're fine. I've heard their music. I'm not like a soldier of Sex Pistols. How about you?
Not really. I mean, I like what they, I like the, I guess, groundbreaking sound that they had, but I don't think I have, like, sat through, one of their albums. I mean, there's only so much of that sound you can take.
Right. And I think they only had one album, right? One studio album anyway.
Yeah, I think this is the Sex Pistols or something.
Never mind the Bullocks. This is the Sex Pistols, something like that.
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah. All at 21 years old. It's just crazy.
That is crazy. I was nearly there when I was 21.
We've all been there. Yeah.
Some of us get through it. Some of us, collect our nickels and
have a heroin overdose. Also, there's also something sad too, just taking away all the rock and fame and the death, and something sad about being so dependent on drugs at just 21 as well. Like, he was taking 30 tablets of that drug, he was taking heroin, everything else he was taking. Like, he lived a long life in just 21 years.
Somehow Rod Stewart's still alive.
And listening to us right now.
And hoping his name doesn't make this list.
Exactly. There's so many celebrities listening right now being like, if you've killed someone and you've gotten away with it up to this point, it's got to be in the back of your mind at all times. Like, any day now, this is going to come out.
Yeah, that has to be in the back of your mind. I have to get my car inspected. It ran out in January, and that shit's been on my mind. Like, I couldn't imagine murdering someone.
But I have thought about the fact, like, I couldn't, even if I wanted to murder someone, I never could, because even if I thought I had the perfect plan to dispose of their body, I could never sleep well again. It would always be in the back of my mind. Like, I would always be looking over my shoulder. It's just not worth it to me.
No, it's a lot easier when they just fall on the knife, and you don't have to think about it. Like, it's an accident. Yeah. These things happen.
Right.
Well, who got that? That was Lance. So that means it's Tim's turn. You're just missing 9, 8, and 7.
Yeah, I really, I'll be honest, I have 3 guesses written down here. I feel like none of them are going to end up making this list, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Robert Wagner.
Yeah, who's that again?
Is he a soap actor?
No, he's the actor who may or may not have killed Natalie Wood.
Oh, good call.
Oh, okay. No, not on here.
Yeah, too sort of vague of a potential death. Yeah,
I think it's not as definitive. Yeah,
definitely not definitive. Yeah.
Well, there's still a sports person on there, right?
There's the person that was at one time an athlete, but has not been an athlete for decades and is more famous for non-athletic things.
More famous for non-athletic things. The one that's on my mind is Ray Lewis.
No, Ray Lewis. He's on my honorable mentions.
Damn it. Who's the other athlete?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner is who we're looking for.
That's not an athlete.
Caitlyn Jenner was an Olympic gold medal winning athlete. I'm
In
waiting
what?
for your counter argument.
I could go win a gold medal tomorrow.
That guy could do it with no
give it a
fucking
try.
legs. We could do it.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it.
The Olympics are coming up. Let's just go try out.
Yeah.
All we need to do is rig mirrors all over the stadium to make the optical illusion of having fake legs.
Yep. We'll rig mirrors all around the stadium, and I'll take one step on the track, and it'll look like I went all the way around, and I end up at the finish line.
God, this is so brilliant. I just wonder, why has no one else done this? It's so obvious. Caitlyn Jenner, I have at number 7. This
did
is
she
another
kill?
one. She killed someone in a car accident.
I had no idea.
See, and this is why she's number 7, because Caitlyn Jenner, I'd say at least in modern times, one of the bigger names on this list, but I feel like no one ever talks about this death, kind of like Matthew Broderick. Caitlyn Jenner, known as Bruce Jenner until 2015, obviously famous not just for the Olympic gold medal, but for keeping up with the Kardashians and all the Kardashian spawn and the reality shows and all that. So from 2007 to 2021, appeared on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, family members of Kris, Kendall, Kylie Jenner, Kourtney, Kim, Khloe, Rob Kardashian. And at the time of her coming out as a trans woman in 2015, Vanity Fair called it the most famous trans woman in the world. So that was big news when that happened. And I think either immediately before or after she came out, she was involved in a fatal multiple vehicle collision on the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. Kim Howe, an animal rights activist and actress, was killed when Jenner's SUV ran into Howe's car. Jenner was unharmed. Accounts of the sequence of collisions have varied, as well as the number of people injured. Prosecutors declined to file criminal charges, but 3 civil lawsuits were filed against Jenner by Howe's stepchildren and drivers of other cars, but all cases have been settled out of court. Caitlyn Jenner killed someone in a car accident, injured others. She herself was unharmed. No criminal charges of any kind.
Definitely a forgotten about story.
And why is that? It's not for lack of
It's a
being
great
famous.
question.
And it was the height of her, it was right around the time she came out and she was in the news. I don't know why this is so undercovered.
Was this before or after the transition?
I was wondering that myself. I'm actually not positive. I couldn't see that, but I know that this accident happened in February 2015, and it says she came out in 2015. So she either came out in January or the first part of February, or this happened before that.
Interesting.
We could probably look it up on Google that Tim's been on this whole time. But all right, well, Lance, you have some ground to make up here.
I know. I thought I had it with Ray Lewis. I thought I was making making some progress there. I don't think this person's on the list, but I don't have many other options in my head, and his name just escaped my mind. The record producer.
Great. Yeah, that's a good one. And I almost put him on the list. And the only reason I didn't is because I covered him kind of recently on another episode. So Phil Spector, that was a big case. I don't know, within the last 5 to 10 years, but no, not in my list. I want to hear who this is.
Yeah, the only one I got left now is definitely not a definitive case either, but John Landis.
Oh, yeah, on the set of Twilight Zone.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't even have him down here. That's a good guess, though. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Let me read you through some honorable mentions. Maybe this will inspire some guesses. I have Don King,
Yeah,
although he killed before he was famous. Robert Blake, you already mentioned. Chris
should have
Benoit.
been in the top 10, but I'm gonna let that go.
You think Robert Blake is above Matthew Broderick? Because that's my number 10.
I do. But go on.
I have Chris Benoit, the pro wrestler who killed his family.
He was my next guess. I have 2 left.
Well, I just saved you a guess then. I just saved you from throwing a wrong guess.
Thank you.
But yeah, we could have covered that. There's a lot there to talk about. I did not, though, for whatever reason. So, Phil Spector, William Burroughs, the author.
He killed somebody?
Yeah, and I think that was a car accident situation as well, if I recall. Venus Williams.
Venus Williams.
Tennis player.
She slayed all of her opponents. Zing!
She killed someone in a car accident. Johnny Lewis. Actually don't even know who that is. Just wrote their name down. Ray Lewis, which Lance guessed. Laura Bush, the former first lady. She killed someone in a car accident before she was famous. Suge Knight.
Oh,
I
may have orchestrated
on my list.
several deaths, and he killed someone recently. That I think the one that I remember, but he got in trouble recently for something. And everyone's favorite celebrity, Dog the Bounty Hunter, also killed someone before he was famous. He killed someone in like a business dispute. Like they got in a fight and he killed someone.
Wow.
I'll say you're missing 9 and 8. I'll say number 9 is among the most famous, but kind of like Caitlyn Jenner, this death is not super top of mind for most people these days. This was not a car accident.
So there's one on there that's a car accident, another car accident?
No, no more car accidents.
Oh, okay.
These are both, one is murder of a wife, and the other one is involved in a drive-by shooting, but did not actually pull the trigger.
Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg.
I totally forgot about that until you said drive-by. Wow.
First of all, I don't know if you should get that because I almost basically told you it. I'm going to give Nick a point for that. But also, would you agree that, Snoop Dogg's like this, he's kind of everywhere. He's like everyone's favorite little celebrity.
Yeah.
In he's in commercials and movies and music and all that.
Beloved.
You kind of forget that he was in this drive-by shooting incident. Snoop Dogg I have at number 9. Now, he's known professionally as Snoop Dogg. He's a rapper and actor. He's actually born Calvin Cordozar Brodus Jr., but nobody knows him as that. They know him as Snoop Dogg. He's sold over 35 million albums. He's been in 17 Grammy Award nominations. He's won Primetime Emmy Award, other shit. His Doggy Style album came out in August 19... Actually, while he was recording that album in August of 93. So he's like just at the beginning stages of being famous. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder in connection with the shooting death of Philip Woldermariam, a member of a rival gang, who was actually killed by Snoop's bodyguard, McKinley Lee, also known as Malik. Both men were charged with murder as Snoop was purportedly driving the vehicle from which the gun was fired. Johnny Cochran of O.J. Simpson fame, the guy who got O.J. off, he defended Snoop and his bodyguard. The bodyguard was acquitted on the basis of self-defense. I didn't look into it more, but I don't get how a drive-by shooting can be self-defense. I'll let that go for a minute. Snoop wasn't acquitted until 1996, and he let the experience inspire one of his early hits. 1993's Murder Was the Case. That's it on Snoop Dogg.
Damn.
I forgot or didn't know that Johnny Cochran represented him, though. It's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Good
so
luck with
last
this
one. Yeah, shit. What about Van Morrison?
Did he kill someone?
He killed someone?
Didn't he? Didn't he do that? Am I spreading rumors on the Danish podcast? I guess he's not on the list.
He's not on the list. Let's call it that. Let's just move on. Yeah, he's not on the list. Look, I'll be honest. This guy, he's not like your A-list celebrity. In hindsight, maybe he should have been replaced with one of those honorable mentions. I included this one mostly because, I don't know, it's one of the colder crimes on the list. That's not a car accident. This is cold-blooded murder. He was a prominent actor in a popular drama series on FX at the time, but he's not an A-list celebrity. He played an LAPD police officer in the FX drama The Shield.
Michael Jace?
Michael Jace, yeah.
Ah. I don't even know his name.
I didn't realize it. I've watched The Shield the full season. Like, I've watched the entirety of that thing like 3 times. I had no idea that. What's wrong with me?
Aren't you a true crime podcaster?
Yes. I mean, the guy's basically confessing to me.
Turn in your true crime podcasting license to my legal team because you don't get it anymore.
When did he do that?
2014. 10 years ago, Lance. Well, he was a character actor, best known for LAPD police officer Julian Lowe on The Shield. He also played Andre Tibbs in an episode of Cold Case. Those were his 2 big calls to fame from what I saw. He's probably done other shit too, though. He was arrested by the LAPD, which is ironic since he played an LAPD police officer. He was arrested in May 2014 on a domestic violence report, as well as his own 911 call in which he stated, quote, "I shot my wife. When police arrived, they found Jace's wife, April, dead from gunshot wounds. He had shot and killed his wife in front of their 2 children.
My God."
According to Jace, he was upset with his wife and believed her to be cheating on him. Jace was eventually found guilty of second-degree murder and sentenced to 40 years to life. He's incarcerated at Corcoran State Prison. I mean, I'm surprised I'm making it all up. No, not really. This is all fake. The whole list, actually.
Well, I guess it's not like I look into the private lives of actors from TV shows that I like, but he was only on there for like a couple seasons, though, right?
Yeah, it's not like, the main character in The Shield. So,
right.
He's not whatever that actor's name
How
is.
dare you speak ill of Michael Chiklis?
Again, we don't know that he hasn't killed someone, but if he did, it would be out there. Like this one, again, like probably doesn't actually belong on the top 10 in hindsight, but I included it just because, I don't know, it's interesting, right? Like you're on the show and right at the height of the show, I don't know if it's the height of the show, it's at least within the height of the show, a few years, You're arrested by the very police department that you represent on TV.
It's ironic, yeah.
Mhm.
You guys watch The Shield at all?
It's been on my list for a while. I will someday,
One of the
but
best.
not yet.
It's been on your list for like 15 years.
Oh, well, it's an honor to get on your list.
Hey, you know what? It took me like 15 years to watch The Sopranos, so
But you
give me
watch
time.
it. Oh.
I'll get there. I did
Okay.
watch it, yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's hope to make it off the list.
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
watch old shows all the time.
And you're a man of lists.
I am a man of lists. I wish I could say the same for you two. You were on a show about lists. I don't know if I'd call you men of lists.
I'm going to have a podcast that's called 20-ish, and we're going to go through 20 topics.
And half of that will just be you complimenting serial killers and whatever else.
At least half.
All right, let me go back through the top 10 and we'll keep score. So when I say your name, I need you both to keep score of yourself.
I don't
'Cause I can't
follow
multitask
directions
like
very
that.
well, so
Yeah, I know. Number 10, Matthew Broderick. Tim guessed that one. Number 9, Snoop Doggy Dogg. Lance/Nick got that one. I'll give it to you. That's Lance. Number 8 was Michael Jace. Number 7, Caitlyn Jenner. Number 6, Oscar Pistorious. Sorry, I forgot to say. So Michael Jace was Lance. Caitlyn Jenner was Lance. Oscar
Caitlyn
Pistorious
Jenner was Tim.
Yeah.
Oscar Pistorious is Tim. Aaron Hernandez at 5 is Tim. Number 4 is Sid Vicious. That's Lance. Number 3 is Alec Baldwin. That's Tim. Number 2, Ted Kennedy. That's Lance. And also Lance at number 1, O.J. Simpson. What was the final tally?
I wasn't keeping score.
I believe it was 5-5.
I'd like to add an honorable mention that I feel like you missed out on. John Wilkes Booth, very
Was he
famous
famous
actor for his
enough?
time.
Does he
I
make
mean,
that
he was
cutoff?
famous, but wasn't he like locally famous? I mean, he wasn't like a celebrity.
He was like a community theater actor.
And Robin Williams, who I quoted at the very start of the episode, also didn't kill anyone, or whatever that's worth. But we should do another list of top 10 celebrities we suspect may have killed someone.
Ooh, that's very much open to interpretation. I like that a lot.
I got to tell you, I don't think Donald Trump has physically killed anyone, but it would not surprise me to learn that he's hired someone to kill someone.
Absolutely, yeah.
Dr. Phil, probably.
Dr. Phil definitely. is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's the TV strangler, I think. Yeah, that's what they call him.
Speaking of
The
celebrities,
backlots.
you guys killing people in the backlots. You guys are celebrities too in the true crime world, and I want you to tell people how to listen to your podcasts.
Well, you get these things called earbuds.
You put them in your ears. You pull open the podcast.
No,
app.
sir. I listen over my car speaker. There's no earphones involved at all.
Well, then you're not an intimate listener.
Intimate listener.
Well, we do Crawlspace, and we cover crime on Crawlspace. We also get a little lighter at times. We do some, we like to sort of dig into cultural moments, usually having to do with some kind of mystery. And then Missing is another one of our podcasts that's about missing people. And before I forget, Nick, very own host of Tennis Podcast, was on episode 376 of Crawlspace. In an episode titled Top 10 Deadliest Serial Killers in North America. That was a lot of fun. We got to have you back on.
Lance couldn't stop bragging and complimenting every one of them, but
Hey, I mean, when you have a body of work, like some of them do,
literally,
you can separate the human from the serial killer sometimes.
a body count of work. I was on the show. Would love to come back. Would love to have you guys back on again someday too. We should do this again.
Yes.
It was fun.
I was actually
Yeah, that was
surprised
a lot
that
of
you
fun.
did other shows after you had us on.
Oh, you thought I would have ended on a high note?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I thought that was like your grand finale.
Well, Tim and Lance, thank you again for coming on. And to the listeners out there, if you kill someone, you shouldn't do it. But if you do, wait till you're famous first so you can be on the next iteration of this list 10 years from now. And with that, I'll sign off. Thank you guys. Goodbye.